Hello and welcome to McDonald's Review. What's it taste like today? Tastes like shit today, does it? No, it's actually cooked properly. I gotta tell you something really amazing. The service itself, the guy at the speaker, was completely over the too brainy for the job he was doing. He got my order correct without any issues, which was weird. Just obviously he was like way overqualified for that job, and he was just doing it to fill in for someone. So some things I got wrong yesterday. I can't remember. I have to watch the video, wouldn't I? Chronic fatigue. I forgot. I left out a whole lot of stuff too. There was an incident where the guy cursed me. The speaker basically said because of my lifestyle, God had cursed me. I guess I could go into the whole Rotorua thing. In 1994, I took a bunch of guys down from the church. This is a completely different church. This is the Elim Church, Bethany Elim in Penrose, Ellerslie Penrose. The building's still there, but it's now a repair shop for computers or something, I don't know. So I took the guys down to Rotorua for the weekend. We lived on a marae for a weekend. That was a freaking awesome experience. We visited a house where there was a lesbian couple living there, and for some reason they were out and they were just there to deliver groceries. They did something, and I was in a different room. I kind of didn't want me coming into the house. I don't know. It's all a blur. And there were holes in the walls, and basically Mike said that the lesbian spirit forced these women to have these outrageous fights with each other and not only smash each other, but smash the walls. That's what he said. And so if I try and think the way I used to think, then some sort of demonic spirit was supposedly overwhelming the human to force them to become a lesbian or change their sexual orientation, which, yeah, obviously no longer makes sense, but that was it at the time. Anyway, so what we did, we went to a conference, and Charlie Pride was there. What's his name? Damn, I didn't bring the tape. Whatever. You can buy CDs at the warehouse. He was there, local artist, and it was a seminar on how the Spirit of God was coming to Rotorua, and that there was going to be a massive revival amongst the Maori people. And by the way, I was the only Pākehā in this whole thing that I'm talking about. So, but that was cool. I loved it because, you know, Trainer was there and his brother, and they were obsessed with my electric guitar, and I just, you know, on the surface, it was a really cool weekend. I got to sleep in my van, which is, you know, something I really enjoy. you know, they had a lame excuse for me not to stay in a house, so I slept in my van and I loved it. I had my sleeping bag and my pillows and everything. I was sweet. Really loved it. Yeah, also I have to explain that back then I hated being around people. Where the hell do you put the camera? I hated being around people, so any excuse to get away from people, even though I was spending a week with 400 of them, any excuse to get away from people was you know, oh, primo, I'm on my own, I'm isolated, away from everybody. You know, back then I used to throw tantrums, I used to get really shitty, and I did this particular weekend, because I was around so many people, I got very, very uncomfortable. And I got very, very shitty. So what had happened was we went to this concert thing, and they were, you know, prophesying that the Spirit of the Lord is coming to Rotorua and there's going to be a massive revival amongst the Maori people. And the old guy gets up and he goes, you know, everybody in the building, stand on your feet, stand on your feet. And I was in a grumpy mood, and basically I said, oh God, I'm not standing up. I'm pissed off at you because you've made my weekend all shitty, like a child. And for some reason, they took that, because I don't know if I had chronic fatigue. I can't know. I must have had chronic fatigue. Coincidentally, I would have had chronic fatigue after that incident happened. And so back at church in Elam, back in Auckland, they explained to me that because I didn't stand up, God had cursed me with chronic fatigue. So, wow, yeah. So that would have been after Rise Up. So I was healthy until after Rise Up. No, this is 3 years later. Oh crap! Get your brain fixed. Rise Up was 1990, so that's got nothing to do with anything I'm talking about. Okay, so this is 1994. I've still got the videotape of the incident, the whole concert, the whole weekend. So years later, I got pissed off with Ian and left Elam, Bethany Elam Church, and I don't know if I went straight to VCC or not. No, there's a gap of years because I didn't have a partner at Bethany Elam. That's something I didn't explain yesterday. How the hell can you be a Christian and bring your partner to church with you week after week after week, and nobody like outs you or just like says, hey, you know, you're bringing a guy along with you week after week. Are you gay or something? That just never came up. It's like, it just never ever came up. It was just assumed that we were good friends, that we travelled and went everywhere together, and that was it. You know, it's like it never crossed their minds, which was a good bloody thing. There were, you know, obviously one or two people that knew because of the whole Andy Kaminsky thing. That was, you know, that didn't come out straight away. I mean, that was a couple of years after I met him. So this evangelist comes to VCC, and he's on about that Christians can have demons. That was a big one. Can a Christian have a demon? That was a big debate at the time. And this guy was like, yes, yeah, Christians can have demons. God can curse Christians as well as sinners, whatever you call them, atheists, whatever. And he was on about, if there are things that you can do in your Christian life, in your Christian walk, that forces God to curse you, to literally curse you, not just give you a bad day or a headache or something like that, just to literally curse you. And so he basically said, that pisses me off. He basically said that, God had cursed me with chronic fatigue because of my homosexual lifestyle, because back then I was a guy. Just a side note, Nicola's coming out again, so won't be here for a while. She's going to be doing the whole transgender and multiple personality things. So she's been inside me for a good 2-3 months now, but she's coming out again. Anyhow, so the guy said, God had cursed me because of my homosexual lifestyle, and he walked off. It's like I was just about to ask him a second question. He goes, no, I've got to catch my plane. I've got to go back to America. And so after that happened, nobody spoke about it. Nobody talked about it at all. So I spent from 95, I don't know, for whenever that incident happened, I spent the next decade. It was a whole decade before I realized that that guy was wrong. Because I met other Christians who had chronic fatigue, who didn't do anything wrong to deserve that punishment. Now, why would God punish one of his children? Well, yeah, because of your evil. Okay, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. The stuff I used to believe doesn't make sense. Why would God punish certain Christians with chronic fatigue who haven't done anything wrong, and then punish Christians with it who have done things wrong? It does not. This does not make sense. If Chewbacca is from Kachi, then you must have quit. An old South Park quote. Oh, the massive McMuffin is, wow, good today. Just to let you know, these things are impossible to buy after 10:30. So in an hour and a half, if I tried to order one of these from McDonald's, even though they got all-day breakfast, I couldn't get one for love or money. So it's been a battle of mine for years. So, what the hell was I talking about? I can't remember. The whole Rotorua thing. Oh, okay, yeah. So, it was a funny incident. We went into a guy's house. Gene, I lived in Rotorua like for 2 years, and I never drove past the marae that I'd stayed in. I don't know where it is now. I think it might be on the bend behind a fence now. I don't know where the houses are that I had all these meetings in that weekend, but it doesn't matter. So we're in this one prayer night, and this guy, we were all speaking in tongues and la 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 la. And this guy starts prophesying in Maori, and all the guys, they like closed their eyes and turned away, and I didn't know what was going on because I don't speak Maori yet. Oh, I didn't back then. I know some now. And I asked him the next morning. I said, what was that about? It didn't feel right. And he goes, well, it wasn't Maori he was speaking in. It was kind of a pidgin Maori language. He was like just completely making up the words. And I was like, oh, you know, this so-called prophet of God was a liar, you know. He was pretending he had authority because he could speak in tongues louder than all the rest, and you know, he was battling through the heavens into the heavenly realms and stuff. So yeah. So that's Rotorua 94 done. I guess I'm supposed to be doing this with the video playing in the background and reviewing the video. That will happen eventually, but the reason why I haven't done any of these is, well, it's still hard to talk about something that I used to believe in wholeheartedly that I don't believe in anymore. It's like, what if they hear me talking? What if they watch this, you know? What are they going to do? Come and bash down the door and... Where are they all now? Who knows? The reason I left Bethany Elam was I was pissed off because of that weekend. And, you know, the guy I was staying with, Ian, I kind of had a real tantrum in that house, and I left the house that morning and I never went back. And I saw him again years later at the... oh shit, the other church in Newmarket. And you told me that the church, you know, that Bethany Elam had split because Derek had been prophesying, because they'd hired a factory as a church, and the rent was, shit, I don't know, $400 a week or something. This is way back in 1990, so it was expensive for the time, whatever it was. I can't really remember. Maybe even $1,000 a week. So they were in financial crisis for that reason. I loved that church. I loved the people. It was a cool time, just all fucked up. When it came to how they dealt with me and my stuff. Anyhow, so they were paying $1,000 a week. Derek started prophesying, you know, that God is going to bring in a millionaire, and the millionaire's just going to walk off the street and into the church, and he's going to lead them to the Lord, and he's going to get saved, and he's going to donate 10%, their tithing again. He was only after the guy for this imaginary millionaire for his money, obviously. He didn't give a crap about winning his soul or whatever we were supposed to be doing back then. So 10% of $1 million, he would have been thinking, oh, big bucks, big bickies, pay the rent. And, you know, he went on for a few months doing that, apparently. And then they told me that he started preaching that there's no such thing as the Holy Spirit, that speaking in tongues and healings and prophesying and all the gifts of the Spirit were evil. That it was a hypnotic thing, you know. So that church just died after that. They all walked out on him. So he went from not being able to pay the bills, instead of going to a smaller church, he just blew the whole church up. Yeah. And John Begg's church, well, can you upload that? If you talk about John Begg, can you upload it to YouTube? I don't know. His wife, Glenda, basically, I don't know what the fuck happened with her, but one Sunday she was like, men don't have emotions, men are just violent, aggressive assholes. And she would have lost maybe 4 families after saying that. You know, the whole men don't cry thing. And because we had meetings where the men, you know, where the men were pouring out their hearts about their life and their life stories, and there's a lot of crying and that. And then in the church service, she's like, men don't cry, and just she just pissed off a lot of people. But my mind is blocking the other thing she did. I don't know why, but she said something 10 times worse than that, and just the church went from 50 people to about 10 people overnight after she said the other thing. And I'll add it to this video if I remember it, but we're doing top 10 things, I don't believe, so let's go with that. Bye.